From the Black Swan Media Studios, deep inside a secret underground bunker, we're speaking to freedom-loving patriots from all around the country and the world. Welcome to the Resistance. This is John Crump, live.
And it is me, and I'm joined by Flying Rich, the flying one. The flies planes into the ground. And we are joined by DLD After Dark.
What up?
You know what make this real cool though?
If we brought someone like a prolific individual from the building community.
Somebody big in the building community.
A devil dog, you can say.
The name.
Like a Marine.
That builds guns.
Hey,
what is up?
Let's go, man.
Oh man, I wish we weren't breaking bad news. It's good to be here, though.
Yeah, I put out a video, and I've actually talked to people up on the Hill who is looking forward to my article coming out tomorrow on MLN News, the best damn website for 2A news on the planet, and we'll be rolling that out. It's going to get a lot of attention, I believe. So, yeah.
Well, we hope so, right? We hope it does. We hope it gets lots of attention and lots of
Trust me.
If this
Trust me, it is.
If this doesn't piss you off, woo, man.
It's going to get a lot of attention. It's going to be.
So, how many rights are getting violated here?
A lot. It's really funny because I put out an article a couple weeks ago with the FBI saying, "Hey, we cannot investigate people for protected activities that's not illegal."
That's the funniest thing. It's how many rights are being violated with like literally zero crimes committed.
Yes.
Yeah.
Show me the victim.
And my friends, a dedicated task force. Funded to do just that.
And let me just tell you guys that when they pose for camera shots, they are so happy to be there. Look at that eating grin. All right.
Maybe we should tell everyone what is going on.
Yeah, man, that picture just screams diversity. What is it? Diversity, equity, and inclusion. Equality and include. Man, what a joke. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, basically what is going on is the Homeland Security people are monitoring, and this is by their own admission, so this is not like conspiracy theory or anything, people that buy not only rails but also 3D printers and filament and anything that can be used. So, and we don't know what the threshold is that you have to cross before they investigate you, but they will start investigating you and looking at things like your social media and stuff like that for something that's lawful. It's lawful commerce.
Yep.
It's not lawful in all states, which I believe is a travesty and also unconstitutional, but it is federally lawful, and yet they're going to crack down on you for it.
In the majority of states, in the majority of the United States, is totally lawful. You want me to give just kind of a quick breakdown of what the little article here says for everyone?
Go on it. But like one thing about the article, I just want to bring people attention to. The reporter didn't even seem to be bothered. It was just like a small blurb in the argument, and we're like, "What the hell?"
Just kind of wanted to throw this out there. So basically, I think John may have just lost audio.
I can hear you. I got my.
Okay. All right, cool. So essentially, this we'll go through the important piece of the article here. There's over the last 7-8 years, maybe even more, but for at least the last 7 or 8 years, there has been a dedicated ghost gun task force at the GATF
NYPD,
and there's a lot of other ghost gun task forces all over the place, but essentially what's going on here is they are receiving data that's got, I'm sorry, there's something in my eye, it's killing me. They're receiving data from a lot of large companies at about a month delay. So they're getting like the previous month, this month, right? And they're getting information from large companies, think of eBay, Amazon, and all these big companies that are selling 3D printers, that are selling filament, that are selling rails for polymer 80s, 3D printed firearm assemblies, and really gun parts, totally lawful gun parts for totally lawful projects. And what they're doing, we have a quote here. It says, "We just basically track internet purchases from eBay, PayPal, Amazon, different various online companies," Vaughn said, Dirtbag said. "We get a list every other month, backdated a month, with people purchasing components that could possibly create a ghost gun, like the rails, the 3D printer, filament, if you're purchasing parts, barrels, slides." What they do is that, so it says, should a certain number of purchases, whatever that may mean, related to making a ghost gun be made, Vaughn says the task force moves forward in conducting further investigations on the individual to include their social media. So what that means is this task force that's essentially worthless. They're literally investigating lawful activities in most places.
I'm counting First, Second, Fourth Amendment here.
Oh,
yeah.
This is a general warrant. This is against my First Amendment freedom of speech because they're surveilling my social media, which is my freedom of speech, and my Second Amendment to build whatever the F I want, when the F I want.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, can we put that screenshot back up? I think that there's so many points here that are just absolutely disgusting. But we'll start with authorities. Authorities, right?
Mm-hmm.
The people in charge, we're authorities, are monitoring the purchase history of rails. So we'll just stop there for a second. Remember, it's those same authorities that said, "Oh, you can still sell them, but you just can't sell the frame and rails together. So please parse those things out. If you sell frames, you can't sell rails."
Mm-hmm.
Right? So now a whole bunch of companies said, "Okay, well, we're not going to be in the frame business. We're going to go start creating rails." So they created a new industry only to do what? To go and monitor those people for selling a product they told them to go sell?
Track and monitor it.
Right?
Yep, absolutely. Yep.
Okay. So Ann believed that he had been gathering components to piece together a ghost gun. Believed he had been gathering components to piece together a ghost gun. So what are you going to do? You're going to go get a warrant? What are you going to do? Shoot him in the fucking head with his family and his kids there? Or better yet, burn his house down because you believed something? And so what if he was?
Yep.
As far as we're all concerned, nothing has changed here. Right? You can still build your own firearm.
Yep.
Correct?
Mm-hmm. And even if, okay, so let's say this. So let's say a person is like, you know what? I'm going to purchase a roll of filament, right? Don't have a 3D printer, don't 3D print, don't whatever, right? They can do whatever they choose to as an individual, regardless of what state they're in. You want to, buy a roll of filament, whatever. And then they say, you know what? I know that rails, like because of the industry that they created, I know that rails are more expensive, hard to find. They at one point were like $80 for one set of rails, right?
Right.
So let me just go ahead and grab a set of rails and then just sit on it. So if someone in New York or Rhode Island or California or wherever, right, a place where building is not permitted, if they just got those two things and sat on it, you're going to tell me that it is completely, I mean, obviously we know that it's unlawful, but they are under the belief that this pre-crime bullshit stuff. Sorry, I know John tries to keep it family friendly.
Yeah, yeah, we already dropped enough bombs, so I guess so.
Yeah, we're already there. Let's take it all the way there. No, I'm just kidding. So with what they believe it to be warranted, they're going to investigate the individual. They're going to monitor them, their other purchases, their social media. Like, this is absurd. Could you imagine the 60 rolls of filament I ordered recently? The
Right.
unlimited amount of, I bought 30 lower parts kits, like whatever. I'm sorry, MGB, please go.
Right. No, well, I mean, look, this is the stuff. This is exactly what we're talking about here, right? Because it says components. We can't make it all about 3D. If you buy a slide, if you buy a barrel, basically what they're saying here is that eBay, PayPal, so if you pay through PayPal, right, even if it's not one of these vendors, but you pay PayPal, almost all large firearm online retailers accept PayPal, right? If they are allowed to still, but Amazon and different various online companies, right, are handing over information of purchases, right? So we're back to the same problem that we're having. But let's take that a step further.
They're slobbing the Fed knob.
Oh,
correct.
Sure.
Yeah,
this isn't there. There's a warrant. We need to investigate this one person because of suspicion.
No, they're handing it over freely.
Just give me all the data.
Yeah, they're handing it over freely.
And there was another instance, separate from what we're talking about here, where a slew of companies, including some of y'all's favorite companies for building out there, to name a few, Rainier Arms, ADP Builder, Salvo, which is like 7 different companies, including Zafiri Precision.
I remember when Rainier Arms contacted me when I put out my article.
Yeah, they were not happy.
They're like, oh, they were gonna get it anyway. It's like, were they?
John, how dare you put out the truth? Okay.
Like, were they?
But here's the reality. They didn't even have a lawful, like, there wasn't even a court subpoena. They gave the information of all of their purchases in a particular area to avoid a subpoena.
So those companies you named said, "Oh, you mean we're selling two-way stuff for freedom? By the way, Fed boys, if you want all of our, client list, you got it, no problem. No, you don't have to get a warrant. We'll just hand it over to you. That's okay."
Think of it as a way, and that's only probably a third of the companies that were included.
Do you want the combination to their safe also?
Basically, this was, think of them settling to run away from a potential issue. They gave all of their, that's why look, I don't mean to shit on people that are supporting freedom in most places, but for all those people in New York, all those companies, you failed us, and because of that, I will not use certain equipment from certain companies, but it was basically them settling to say, okay, we'll give you all the information that you're asking for to avoid a subpoena and potential legislation. But this is equal to that, only now you have a task force that is going through your credit card statements, that is going through your lawful, completely, totally lawful purchases. And I'm sure we know that we've been coming up to this where we're looking at the CBDC kicking in. We're looking at, the dollar literally collapsing. We have a totally tyrannical, government that's administration currently. I don't know when we haven't had a tyrannical government, but this is next level. Sorry, I'm pissed. I keep taking it from MGB. My bad.
Of course it is, because you're paying a specialized task force. Who knows how much money is allocated to this? Okay, but their job is to wake up and do just what it says here. We get a list every other month, backdated, with people who are purchasing components. So their sole job is to investigate people who have done nothing wrong.
Yep. People who
and try to
might.
find something that they believe and do what? See, this is the question we should be asking ourselves. And do what with it? What are you going to do? Are you going to go convince a judge to serve a warrant to these people because you believe something?
Or maybe
Right?
they'll go look at the person's social media, find that they do
Okay,
3 live
but again,
streams each
even
week.
if the person's doing it, so what? It
Of
is
course.
lawful in 80% of the states,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So
That's what I'm
what?
saying. Imagine this. Imagine they go and see someone's social media. Let's say, for an example, somebody that does 3 live shows each week on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, and they say, "Whoa, the stuff this guy's talking about is red flaggable. Let's red flag him and murk
Mhm,
his
mhm.
dog and shoot him in the head." Right?
Right. So that we can put him or her on a list. And then once they're on the list and we've identified them, we can invoke the Patriot Act against them.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And
Oh, yeah.
therefore, we can now start to monitor all their text messages, emails, and everything else. Right.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's, like I always say, they call it the Patriot Act. If there was an act to love and care for puppies, there would be a wood chipper on page 3001 of the bill.
Right.
Yep.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's like, it's not a surprise to anybody, right? I mean, is anybody here shocked and appalled?
Sadly, no.
that this is
And I guess,
happening?
yeah,
You know?
sadly, no. I'm just aggravated. I'm
Yeah.
very frustrated that all of my rights are merely a suggestion to these people, to the Fed boys.
Yeah.
Right. Well, it is. And the fact is that you're also paying for it. You're
Yeah.
paying for all, your
You are
rights to be
paying for it.
violated and everybody else's rights to be violated. So,
Yep.
the idea that we somehow believe that you're still living in a free country is if people haven't really gotten it in the last 5 years, it's right in front of you. Again, we keep saying it, right? But there's no shame anymore, folks. They're just out there. Like look at this guy. He the commanding officer. He's like, yeah, we get a list from these companies and name drops them. Name drops them.
Well, that's the big thing. It was like they weren't even like, it wasn't like, it was like, oh, no big deal. We just get these names on for these people that are doing lawful commerce. And let's think about it this way. How many people that buy 3D? I mean, I don't print that many firearms. I do mostly like robotics and drone stuff and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But how many people out there don't print any firearm? I would say the vast majority of people that buy filament and printers do not print firearms. But yet, people,
right? Like 99% of the industry, the 3D industry, don't print firearms.
Yeah, dude.
let's just play devil's advocate. Let's say building.
Think of my jigs.
They teach it in my kid's school.
Yeah,
You know.
Let's say 3D printing firearms is illegal. It's not, and it shouldn't be, and it never is. But let's just say it is. How many people would still be surveilled illegally for doing perfectly lawful commerce?
Yeah, dude. I literally this past
right now
this past
100%.
week.
It's
Yeah.
Okay, but now let's take that even a step further. Let's say because you could just keep going here, right? So they would come back and say, "Oh well, we look for other purchases as well." Okay, so
Bibles.
my son asked me to buy him filament for a class project, but I also bought a slide on eBay.
There you go.
You're illegal.
You know what I mean? So
you're now being surveilled.
Right.
Because...
Now I'm being but this is the danger here though, folks. This is why there is constant problems at the ATF. This is why there are these constant year after year of terrible misbehavior and the hit squads that they put out, because something like that becomes what's exactly in here by their own words. We believe. We believe, and we believe it, so we get aggressive and we go crazy and we serve warrants and we do no-knock warrants, right? And we do this stuff and we get into a firefight, right? And we end up murdering somebody.
Yep, happens.
An airport guy.
Too often.
Over a paperwork violation.
Are we all
Right.
guilty of constructive possession? I mean,
Right.
you could print things to make the gun go full auto. I mean,
I don't know. You know what, Rich?
if we have the filament and a printer and the knowledge,
that tripod
Honestly-
is starting to look like a vertical grip, Rich. I'm getting a little
Right?
nervous for you.
The entire yeah, right.
This is
The
part of it.
entire craziness of all of this. Here's the other thing too, is that, you know, before the anti-gun lobby stuck their nose in building,
Mhm.
like I tell the story all the time, as you guys know, right? Like the minute they started coming in here and playing fucking Karen and going crazy, and then going to their friends at the ATF and saying, "You got to go do something right fucking now about these people," bah, 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 right?
Mhm.
That's when this industry exploded,
Yep.
right? Everybody's like, "Oh, it happened overnight." Polymedia been in business since 2013. It didn't explode until like late 2018, all through 2019. You know what I mean? Like that's when it exploded.
Yeah, I
But
think
it's
they have
because you
talking
put
about
so
these
much
companies.
attention to it. You
Mhm.
know?
Yep. What were you saying,
It-
Company?
What I'm saying, this is something I printed for a project that I'm doing, right? It was, but according to these guys, this is probably a gun part.
Looks like an auto sear to me.
Oh, it looks like illegal brass knuckles. That's
Yep.
what I see.
Yep. Undetectable brass knuckles.
Yeah,
Actually
they're
looks right.
undetectable. It's so
Yeah.
undetectable.
I
Yeah.
live in a state where they're banned and outlawed and a felony to have. So
Oh man, I literally have some right down to the left of me.
it's
right
like
now.
crazy.
The
So
funny thing
anyway.
is I actually use it for like a paperweight, and they're typically sold as paperweights. But that's
Yeah.
look, we have to, and Crump is right. This is actually DHS. I misspoke earlier and said it was the gay TF. This is actually DHS, which
DHS,
is worse.
NYPD, what was it? It's FinCEN, AT. It's
Well,
just
this is how they
Well,
fund this
well,
stuff
my-
now. They
My
fund
article,
it through-
Vincent has been doing a lot of the same crap, and they're over at Treasury. So my article is going to touch on tying those together. I might have got a little hint to do that by someone who has a lot of power, who said it would be great if the article referenced these two things since we have a hearing coming up on it. That's all I'm saying.
Look, the reality here, my friends, is that if you're gonna buy components, we're getting to the point that like we're gonna actually internally have our own lists of where to buy stuff. Do you know what I mean?
You can get a shirt at fattack.com. I will be pushing that even more. I really haven't been pushing it yet. I've been busy with my AI.
Yeah, but
I
shout
mean,
out
John's got a
to
new
him.
girlfriend.
I made an AI.
He did make an AI. Maybe he could make that AI say that you guys could go get super dope merch that is exclusive merch
Yeah.
only to fattack.com. And shout out to Josh of Black Diamond Guns and Gear for the reminder there in the super chat. Appreciate you.
Yeah, my AI will tell you how to build certain things
And synthesize
Nice.
certain things.
and synthesize certain legal and not so illegal stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, Kurt, thank you.
Learn how
man.
to cook a certain method, a certain substance. You can go do it, and I'll tell you, I'll walk you through it.
Crump, did you just say a certain meth?
Method.
Oh, method.
A
Okay.
method of cooking.
I just
kind of did,
checking.
dude. You weren't. That was supposed to be like an inside thing, dude.
Oh, okay. All right.
You know what's funny is that eBay actually banned all rail sales. So you
When,
Really?
when did they do that? As of when?
it was a couple months ago.
Okay.
Oh, that's
whole
right.
whole bunch of the vendors that were selling rails. Well, we know that they did jigs already, but then they did
Mhm.
rails a few
Right.
months ago, and now their AIs, because we're speaking about AI, has picked up every keyword associated with P80. So,
Wow.
like, I sell a Glock 20 OEM parts kit,
Mhm.
which is not for the PF45. It's the standard
Yeah.
G20. The PF45 is made out of the SF model of Glock.
Mhm. Yep.
So I literally would put in the title, not for SF, not for PF45. This is not an SF kit.
And it would flag you because
and it
you
would
put,
flag the listing, even though I said it's not for P80,
yeah,
right? Or for PF45.
yeah.
That's
They're
crazy.
bananas.
That's crazy. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's getting scary out there, man.
I know.
Well,
And,
if there was only a thing that we could do to prevent our government from overstepping and encroaching on our rights, and this
I
isn't
can think of
even
two
like,
things.
I could also think of two things. Look,
So
it,
I,
the,
I have a question that for all of you guys. I have a question for all of you guys. I think
Mhm.
this is a good question here. If we're still in this world where this is going on, what occurs when they're beat at SCOTUS in the fall and we get a decision early next year that building your own firearm is protected under the Second Amendment, right? And they can know, and that the rule is completely gone nationwide.
New York will claim these are gun building free zones.
Right. Well, I want to preface this because right now what they're doing with these actions, again, they shouldn't be doing because it's lawful activity. But what happens with all of this money that they've invested into this? Because I on one hand, I really believe that they love government, inflating the government, inflating the budgets, creating the crises, putting the staff so that they can have, more control. What do they do next?
the same thing they did.
Just keep monitoring people, even though the Supreme Court says it's fine.
It's the exact same. So, well, we can go around to if Rich, if you want to go first.
Well, it's just crazy to me that the government is surveilling. Basically, they can't solve a crime they didn't commit in the first place or manufacture. My First, Fourth, and Second Amendment rights are all gone based on this. They have the right to surveil my speech, my purchases, my firearms. I have the right to keep and bear arms. The Supreme Court has said that also means keeping and bearing means ammunition, construction, manufacture, that maintenance. I can do all of these things because that's in line with keeping and bearing arms.
So then is it you can do it, but we're going to monitor, watch you, and strip you of all your First Amendment and Fourth Amendment right anyway?
Absolutely.
So is that what we're coming to, right? Like you can do it, okay, because we can't
I can ride on the bus. I just got to ride in the back of the bus, and that's okay. You're still riding on the bus. It's just the back of the bus.
Right.
We talked about
nothing wrong with that.
When we had said the illusion of freedom, right? It's
Yes.
like when you take a dog and you put a stake in the ground and they're still on a leash, right? They're still able to walk around and they can, run and jump and they feel free. They just don't realize that they're literally staked to the ground that they walk on. That is the exact, that's a metaphor of the exact situation that we're in. And you know what the government's going to do? Because it's completely, it's complete. The trains will run on time. It is completely lawful activity right now in the majority of the United States to build your own firearm, to build your own modern firearm in the privacy of your own home with zero governmental overreach, right? We know that in most places that it's totally lawful. But yet they are still, well, just in case they sell it, or just in case they do that, just in case, well, this guy's doing this much stuff and getting this much filament and this many parts, and they must have some underground ghost gun dealing ring or whatever, right? But here's the deal. MGB, what you brought up, what did they do when the Cold War, when the reason for all the billions and billions of dollars was thrown into the Cold War, and then the entire just like huge governmental force that they built to fight against something, right? All of a sudden the thing they were fighting against stopped existing. What did they do? We ended up in another war. Then we ended up
new wars
in another war. And then, oh, the whole reason that we went out there was actually a lie. It was fake. It didn't even exist. There were no weapons of. I mean, it's constant. They're just finding places because what are they going to do? Are they going to reduce the size and funding of government? Psh, no.
Right.
We're going to send them to Iraq. We're going to send them to Kuwait. We're going to send them to Afghanistan. We're going to send them, and then constantly. It's the same thing when it's like, oh, here's this fight. We have. Hold on. Didn't we fund and arm that organization 2 decades ago? Right now, guess what? In the next 2 decades, we're going to be fighting Ukraine, and they're going to be like, hold up. You guys funded and armed them. Well, yeah, we always do that.
Right.
There's always this trail of bullshit.
Destruction. A trail
Yeah.
of destruction.
Absolutely. They don't exist to build and nourish and support and to free people. It is the exact opposite of every word I just said.
Right.
To restrict, to hinder, to hurt, to arrest, to look at Matt Hoover, look at CRS, man.
Mm-hmm.
So the purpose is to punish eventually,
Yeah.
right? Because
And if they're not punishing you, they're watching you to figure out if they can punish you. They can't do any of this shit.
yeah,
I'm going to start wearing an S vest all day. I'm sorry. I'm totally joking. Let me stop. I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, we sit here because, and we talk about this stuff because if we didn't, nobody else would.
Can I note
Right?
that we just hit 100 viewers when I said I was going to wear an S
changed in him
vest?
since the first day in the ministry of love, but the final, indispensable healing change had never happened until this moment. The waiters were turning back to their work. One of them approached with the
Do you know
gin
what this is from?
Winston, sitting in a blissful
Yeah,
dream,
it's
paid
from,
no attention as his
1984.
glass was filled up. He was not running or cheering any longer. He was back in the ministry of love, with everything forgiven, his soul white as snow. He was in the public dock, confessing everything, implicating everybody. He was walking down the white-tiled corridor with the feeling of walking
I'll
in
tell you what, I'm playing
sunlight
this in a
and
second.
an armed guard at his back.
Are we all getting a
Long
copyright
hoped-for
strike now?
bullet was
Probably.
entering his brain.
Yes.
It's worth it though.
He gazed up at the enormous face. 40 years it had taken him to learn what kind of smile was hidden beneath the dark mustache. Oh, cruel, needless misunderstanding. Oh, stubborn, self-willed exile from the loving breast. 2 gin-scented tears trickled down the sides of his nose. But it was all right. Everything was all right. The struggle was finished. He had won the victory over himself. He loved Big Brother.
And that is what they want.
yeah.
That is exactly what they want.
Yep. That
All right. Well, look, we're always looking for great opportunities here, right?
mhm,
We
yep.
have to. So let's do this. So I wasn't going to do this till Memorial Day, but if you want to buy tyranny-free parts, go to marinegunbuilder.com.
There you go.
And what we'll do here just for the next 24 hours and just for our viewers here on John Crump Live, I'm going to let you buy any part kit you want for $60. That's
OEM parts
$25 off. $25 off. Any lower parts kit you want, $60. OEM quality. Give me a code.
Dang.
Somebody throw out a code. I'll go program it on the back end.
Freedom.
I'll leave it up for the next 24 hours for all of Crump's viewers. Anything you want.
Code freedom. Because we
Yeah.
know we never have to worry
Freedom?
about
right.
marinegunbuilder.com
So
ever.
hold on. Let
Oh,
me
it's
go
fine.
into the
He
back
doesn't
end
sell
and do it.
any pews.
Yeah, Brave New World would be more accurate, but a lot less people have read Brave New World. If you haven't read it, it's a great book.
I've not.
Would you be John Savage?
Yeah,
Oh,
I want to be John Galt myself,
goodness.
That's
but that's from
another book.
that's another
just-
book. Yeah,
Just want to add that no one out there ever has to worry about Marine Gun Builder store ever harvesting or sending any information to any entity ever. I mean,
You
they
know
can always
why?
get it.
You know why you don't have to worry about that? because I'll fucking shut it down before.
Yeah.
Right. And that's proven. I'll just stop it.
Yeah.
Hold on, I'm plugging it in. So we're going to use code FREEDOM, right? Freedom. Good code, right?
That's a great code.
Code FREEDOM.
Like Freedom Crew University.
And I'm going to apply
Yeah.
it to all products. So even all your upper part kits will be $25 off. Be the lowest you can buy them anywhere right now. Next 24 hours, only you guys know about it. But I mean, I guess you could share it with other Patriots who aren't with us. But I'll leave it up
don't
to
share with
24
anyone.
hours. Because I think that this kind of plays afterwards, right, John? Like your audience probably get it in the next day or so.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you know what? Because MGB is doing something, I'll also do something. There's been a little secret code that every now and then I help, people that want to save like $10, $8 to $10 on shipping. If you use code PWEDC, you can get free shipping. So that makes all jigs $25. So if you're buying OEM parts kits and you're building something and you need jig, and this, we didn't do this just to like send business to our businesses, y'all. This is just, we want people to be able to build freedom.
This is fighting back. This is fighting back against the system. This is the system that they want you in. Understand that they want you in the Amazons. They want you in the eBay. They want you in the Googles. They want you in the YouTube. They don't want any alternatives to those things because they control them.
Yeah,
right?
because this is their way
That's
to
what they
be
want.
able to. Yep. So, wiped. So at DLD Hardware, any jigs, tools, anything y'all get, free shipping with code PWEDC on DLD Hardware. There you go.
Yep. So I have the code in, code FREEDOM. Of course, it's always free shipping. It's same day shipping. And actually, if you order now before, well, you got another hour, it'll go out today, same day. If not, it'll go out tomorrow morning. Next 24 hours, my friends, get yourself some OEM parts. Oh, for those of you that have the PF45 and you're on a mess and you can't get your trigger to work, this is the cheapest the MGB trigger fix has ever been now, because I just put $25 off all products on the entire site. So that means that fix that I make is $25. It's 50, right?
Nice.
$25. So get your PF45 Freedom back working again.
Yeah. Yeah, BV Luminous is totally correct. Nothing online hides 100%. If they come up against people like us that will not participate in their tyranny, they'll go to USPS. They'll go to, stamps.com. They'll go to wherever.
Which they have. They did that with Polymer 80.
Yeah, they will
Polymer 80
absolutely do that.
Polymer 80 wouldn't turn over information. So what did? They went to stamps.com and USPS
Yeah.
and authorize.net.
This is the same thing. I don't know if we've talked about it on the show. We've talked about it individually. That guy Dexter, we had him on the show. He got sentenced to 10 years because he was in, I think, Brooklyn, building pews, and they got the mailing list, they got the parts list, probably the same team, and they threw him in jail for 10 freaking years. Here's an IT guy, honest dude. As far as I'm concerned, zero crimes committed. There's zero victims, but he just happened to be in the wrong state.
If he was literally 2 states over, nothing would have happened. That's so ridiculous to me. It does not compute. It does not make any sense at all.
I know.
I've seen online. Somebody was commenting about Florida, and they're like, "I don't go to Florida, not that state, that governor, or these." It's like, oh, and they're claiming, crazy things about the state of Florida, and it's like, wait a second. You mean where the good guys actually have guns, as opposed to someplace like New York, where none of the good guys can actually have guns?
Yeah.
Right.
Dude, look at what's happening. They are warming us up for martial law. Look at what's happening in the subways, right? Like, we literally have National Guardsmen armed in the subways.
Yeah,
searching
checking honest
people's-
citizens' bags.
Yes. Like, oh man.
I'd go in with backpack, say, no, screw you.
Yep.
Not today.
Yep. Not today, Satan.
Not tomorrow. Tomorrow's not looking good either.
Yeah.
Oh man, I missed. That's when Saturday Night Live was funny.
Yeah.
Back when it was funny in the 80s.
Yeah. Well, that was 90s, I think. Wasn't
Dan-
it Dana Carvey? Not today, singing.
I don't know. Maybe. I don't recall.
I don't know.
Let's see.
All right. So, John, when does this article come out? Tomorrow?
It's gonna come out tomorrow. And I did some research, and I'm trying to get it out there quickly to help some people do some stuff. That's all I'm really gonna say.
Okay, sure.
Oh yeah, nice. Mr. BS, he's a good dude. He said he just placed an order.
Thank you, sir. Salute. It'll go
Dude,
out tonight, my friend. It'll be on its way.
$60. $60 for Glock OEM, and these are verified, certified, actual OEM lower parts kits. Unlike some people out there,
unlike almost all people.
I just
well, you know what's so funny is you want to
person.
do something on eBay, get rid of all the Taiwan junk that's blowing up people's hands and so unsafe, right?
Yeah,
Do something like that. Like
Get rid
actually regulate if you're going to regulate.
So
Get rid
you
of
know what I haven't seen? Like you
range.
see all the guys, the ATF dudes. Hold on, let me roll this back in. So here's the proud ATF dudes. I got to find the right screen now. Standing behind. Show me where they, bust the gangbangers with loads of Glock switches. Where's that happening?
Right.
It
No,
doesn't.
they're going after Joey Bag of Donuts.
Hold on, leave that up for 1 second.
You say Joey Bag of Donuts?
Bag of
Yeah.
donuts. That's from the old school days, man.
Oh,
They're
hold
they're
on.
going after Joe Normal that's never even got a parking ticket. And well, first off, you know what we didn't hit on in the story. It's like he had an arsenal. And I'm like,
Right.
that's not even a good range day. What are you talking about?
Dude, they got about 200 rounds of various ammo. They have these little single stack 6-round magazines, each one individually tagged. Okay, because
Yeah,
New York.
he had 13 high capacity AR-15 mags. You mean normal capacity? I have more than that loaded right now.
I'm just
Steve
looking.
Whoop has it right. That's a starter kit right there.
Right?
For real,
right?
yeah.
Right?
That's like the Temu.com starter kit. Yes.
Yeah, man. And look, sometimes you can just look at people, and I'm the type of dude that's like, all right, let's reserve judgment. Okay, come from a place of curiosity. Well, not in this case, because these people are literally freedom encroachers. Okay.
Yeah.
I can just look at people sometimes. It doesn't take pink and purple hair and wearing a mask by yourself in your car for me to be able to look at people and say, I can just get a pretty good vibe of who you are just by looking at your face. And all those dusty mugs right there, they just look like their egos are just like bleeding from their. Oh man, sorry. Let me stop. All right, yeah.
You all right?
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
pissed. I'm pissed, man. I'm like, look what they're doing. They're taking.
Yeah. Rip Curl has it. He says they shouldn't want to be in a picture like that.
Exactly.
But
They put this
also,
out like they were bragging.
Right. But you also have to understand that's what those types of people go into. That's the type of jobs they seek. Right? They could do anything with their life. Right? They could do anything and live a life of purpose and meaning, but they choose to do that every day. Right?
Yeah.
And
Well,
so,
and to be fair, they probably look at us and say these guys are out here arming, criminals, giving them jigs and parts. And
Wait. How many guns can you shoot at a time? Maybe two.
I have
Maybe two.
hands. I would prefer to just shoot.
So
but again, I just want to say this, Dark, is that's the line that they're fed in their own media world and in the world that they believe. But the reality is the statistics say something very, very different than that.
Of course.
Right? And the statistics say that that's not who does this. And I know personally, right? I mean, I know personally with that data that is not where the even close to the majority is. But even with that, for the very low percent of people that have criminal intent by building their own firearm, every time these things occur, what is the same story? They were locked up, let out, arrested, let out, arrested, let out, arrested, let out, right?
Yep.
So it's like, you know what? You can come after the industry all you want, but it's your own industry, the law enforcement industry, that doesn't
Your
do
failures.
its fucking job.
Yep.
You know, and actually remove the criminals from the street. You know why we have criminal behavior on the streets? Because you allow criminals back on the street and they
It's
have bad
encouraged.
behavior. Right?
Amen.
It's that
It
simple.
is encouraged. Absolutely.
Right?
Yep.
It's
No.
that simple.
About 40 people have come in here over the time that we've been talking, where we they may not be hip to exactly what's going on. They're probably just like, oh, cool, you know, Crump and Rich and Dark and MGB. So MGB, you want to give a quick little snippet as to what's going on right now, why we're talking or what we're talking about, rather.
Sure. There's more tyranny on the front. It's a new month, more tyranny.
Mhm.
We had an article come out today with a supervisor or the commanding officer of Homeland Security that runs a ghost gun unit who was bragging basically that they get lists from Amazon, eBay, PayPal, and other online retailers every month, backdated a month, of all people that are purchasing components, 3D printers, or other objects that they believe could be used in building a ghost gun. And so when they get this data, they go through it and then go to the people's social media and begin to investigate those individuals. That about sum it up?
Yep. That's, although I'm even more frustrated than I was a moment ago when I hear you say that so eloquently, that was perfect.
Thank you.
And still frustrating. MGB
Yeah.
order placed for the feds. It's awesome.
Yeah, screw them, man. I mean, they can try to do all they want, but they're not going to stop the signal. They can't.
No, it's impossible. It's impossible. I mean, imagine. Okay, so imagine. Let's say that you bought.
Thank you,
You know,
Fluffy.
the frame of a vehicle. Okay, and then you bought. You know, some fiberglass stuff, and then you bought some windows and you know, parts to build a car, and you're going to build a car in your garage. Okay, and then you build it, and then they start flagging all these purchases, and they're like, oh my goodness, this guy is building his own car in Florida, Virginia, wherever, right? We need to investigate this guy. We need to see what he is doing and why.
It's ridiculous. You know how many folks. Okay, so let's actually get back for a second. What is the main sticking point for them? Right. Well, what they'll say it is, but it's not really. But what they'll say it is a serial number, right? Serial number.
Yeah.
Do you know how many people in my forum would come in and build their gun and then have it serialized? Like tons.
Oh my gosh.
Tons
Sure.
of them.
Yeah,
Tons
happens
of
all the time.
So here's my question. If you're putting this task force together, right now, people serialize it for all sorts of things. Sometimes they live in a state that requires it, like you can build it, but you got to serialize it. And a lot of
Sometimes
times they
they
do
just
it just
want
for
a cool-
inventory purposes, right? So
Yep.
they know what they have and they can track it for themselves because
And
it's there.
sometimes they just want a cool serial number. Like
Absolutely, that too,
met a
right? I mean,
dude-
there's so this is what I'm saying is like it's so blinded. They have no idea of the reality of this real industry. But anyway, if somebody is doing all these things and you believe them to be building a ghost gun, how do you know that their intention isn't to get it serialized?
Of course. Or
Right?
or that their
So-
intention is to even actually build it anyway. And
Right.
it shouldn't even
But
matter.
and I'm just saying it because of the car. Like if I go build a car in my garage and I'm starting to
assault
build a
vehicle.
car, it hasn't passed emissions yet. It hasn't done all that. So you're gonna
Yeah.
come in and raid my fucking house and take my car that I'm building in the garage because it hasn't passed emissions yet? You understand what I mean?
Well-
Because I got a muffler here, I got a seat, I got a radio. Like, you know what I mean? You're jumping to fucking conclusions that are way preposterous.
You're an illegal car dealer.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
exactly.
You are. You know what
Right,
you're doing?
right,
You're
right.
engaging in the business of that.
Right.
That's
Did
Yes.
you
that's what
offer
it
to
is.
sell a car?
Yeah,
Funny how all these buzzwords come right back, right?
dude,
All
it's
right.
crazy.
But you got to realize, so this latest proposed ATF rule, where they say if you
Which
buy
one?
and
Which
sell
one?
guns
Oh, that
and
FFL.
may not make a profit or even offer, you may be an FFL. And now, if I put a comma where I should have had an apostrophe, all of a sudden I'm going to be banned from being an FFL. So now I can't buy or sell guns. And of course, if we're all FFLs, then they have a list of who has the guns, a registry.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
know. Again, to do what with? Eventually confiscate, right? Because there's got to be a purpose, right? There's got to
No,
be
no.
a
If there's
Yeah.
a number on your firearm can't be used for illegal purposes. It's
right,
never happened.
right. It's
It's
immune.
never occurred.
right.
Very true. This, just for the record, this is a 3D printed AR upper. Okay. And this is a 300 blackout 3D printed. This actually has a 3D printed BCG with a standard bolt, but a 3D printed BCG. Like, if they think that they can actually stop something, like somebody with a room temperature IQ and a
Right.
machine that poops out plastic can literally build an AR-15 with just a barrel and a bolt, not even a complete BCG, a barrel and a bolt and a 3D printer, and then of course a lower. Which, if you don't have a lower, then just 3D print one.
Print one.
They cannot stop what is happening, even if magically, because we know most of them are witches and warlocks, if they could literally just stop all firearms from being manufactured and sold, even with just what is in existence right now in the country, good fucking luck, dude.
You know
Good
what
luck.
they could do, though? You know what they could do?
Ban shovels and
No,
mag
what they could
pulls.
do is actually punish criminals.
That would be.
They could actually just do that.
That would be.
They could
expensive
just
and
do
dangerous.
that.
But here's the problem. That's expensive and dangerous, right? Because
Right.
what's
Well,
easier?
but you know what? I have a solution for that. You know what we could do? We could get all criminals and drive them down to the Mexico border and just drop them off. How about we
Yeah.
just do that?
Yeah, that'd be easy.
Like the other countries are doing to us.
Oh, damn.
Basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mexico's going to build a wall so that people don't come back.
I know. Fucking nuts. Crazy. Oh my
That's
God.
so crazy.
We have to laugh at some of this because it is, we are
Wait,
living
Now,
in a
here's
nano world.
the thing that bothers me.
Mhm.
Any one of us here could walk into a hardware store, walk into a Home Depot, whatever it may be, on the way to the parking lot, assemble a slamfire shotgun.
For sure.
Before you got to your car,
Yep.
you are not going to stop the signal. It's
Yep.
not happening.
And none of this should be illegal. None of it should be illegal. Absolutely none of it should be illegal. But what they're
Hold on.
doing and
Hold on,
look,
let me check if it should be legal or not.
yeah.
Hey, by
Oh,
the way,
nope.
guys, it never has been. This is just the last couple years. That's it.
They're
all
pushing
What,
it.
what kills me is you used to be able, the Sears catalog, Amazon of 1930, you could order a freaking Thompson submachine gun, have it delivered to your doorstep.
and
How
they
many
would leave it
kids?
there.
How
They
many
leave it on the
kids? No
porch.
porch pirates, nothing. How
Yep.
many kids were ordering Thompson submachine guns and going to their schools and shooting them?
Right.
Yeah.
None.
But we also know, because I've said this before, where did all that start? Where did all mass shooting as we know it today start? It started with, for those who are my age, right? We grew up with going postal,
Mhm,
right?
mhm.
That was the original mass shootings that we knew.
Yep.
Post office employees going crazy. And who controls the post office?
The
Oh,
government.
government.
The government. But you see, this is the whole problem, is the government cannot, they're unable to provide a healthy, respectful culture in anything they do.
Of course.
And so this is no different. Okay. But mass shooting is just a fancy term to actually mask their own inept ability to create a positive culture, right?
Yeah.
And by the way, I believe this to still be true, and please somebody look it up because it's not broadcast anymore. But I believe that the top place that mass shootings still occur is the United States Postal Service. I believe even to today,
Really?
it is
Oh,
the number one place
Yeah, I don't know.
for mass shootings to occur. Please double check that. But we never hear about them anymore because they
Right.
don't want to say going postal and equate that to a government institution.
Yeah, it's the same thing that like there are so many self deletes that you know, self-harm situations that occur in shooting ranges, and usually like some of my local ranges, they literally just, you know, once the coroner comes, they'll wrap a sheet around the booth and just run business as usual because of how often it happens, or they'll tarp it, or they'll whatever, right? And you never hear about, well, you rarely hear about it because they don't want, now this is not federal, I'm just saying it's the same idea that they don't want to push that information out there, one, to get a bad reputation, or two, to encourage people that are looking for a way to self-delete to go in there and be like, oh, I don't need anything but a driver's license to, you know, to go rent whatever I want, right? But here's the thing with all the BS that they spew about mass shootings. The reality is that less than, what was it last year, was like, was it 461, 361 deaths by all
Long gun.
rifles, all rifles,
Yeah.
not
Well,
even
I
just
believe that includes
AR-15s.
shotguns.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
that
does.
includes shotguns. It includes
Any
all-
long gun.
Yeah, any long gun. It was like either 461 or 361. I can't recall. But compare that to, now they're saying, right? We're literally watching congressional, like House meetings, Congress literally stand up and say that the number one cause of death in children is these school shootings with AR-15s, right? Which we know factually to be 100% incorrect.
More kids die in swimming pools than by AR-15s.
More kids die by,
the bed sheets.
yes, like accidental strangulation by bed sheets. I mean, like by more than tenfold,
Right.
right?
Like
Like
twice as much. It's
Twice as
900
much.
a year.
what was? Oh, it was vehicles that are more than tenfold. Like they're going after the wrong.
And they
Carl,
know
are you
Dark,
playing
Dark,
rock music?
Dark, they know that it's all intentional.
I
it's
know
all intentional.
it's all about
It's all
control.
intentional.
It's all control. I know it.
Right.
It's just crazy to me that now it's not. It's
And the
not
school
like
the school shootings are going to continue to happen because understand that, like when it was up 2 years ago, right, and all it was going to pass, they took the money that was left over from that thing that happened overseas that came over
Mhm.
over
Coof,
here.
coof, yeah.
When that came over here, they had all that money left over, and Ted Cruz put up the bill, and as long as nobody objected, we were going to have armed security in every school because they
Yeah.
already had the money. It was allocated for that. We
Yeah.
didn't need it anymore. He was going to reallocate it. Every school in the nation was going to have armed security, and all that had to happen was nobody object. And
Yeah.
the one Connecticut senator who is backed by the anti-gun lobby is the
Mhm.
Oh, is that
person who
Denang Dick?
objected. No, his other guy. What is his name? Roger. I can't think of his name. Begins with an R.
Mhm.
But he objected, and that was it. And because one person objected, we're not able to allocate that money anymore. And understand that why he objected. He objected because the anti-gun lobby were not the people writing the bill and what was going to go into it and controlling the money and the flow and who would get hired and how it would be set up. So here's the thing. It's going to come eventually. They want it, okay? The Democrats want to put armed guards in every school under the Department of Homeland Security. They want it, but they want to be able to write the bill so that they control it.
Well, I'm
and
sure
they
they can
control the
also
money.
they can hide a bunch of other stuff in there too.
Right. They
And
can
then-
do all that stuff. Under this act, we do this. And oh, by the way, we take away all the guns in the neighborhood, stuff like that, right?
But that's the
They
crazy
want to
thing.
be able to control it.
They're saying that, okay, if police are the answer, okay, so let's say this, a shooting takes place, okay, this is totally just a made up example. A shooting takes place in a gun free zone. What do? Call who? Call the police. And the
With the
police show
gun.
up with a firearm to stop the shooting.
Right.
And they're saying that they don't want teachers or anybody in the school with a firearm to react more quickly. You want to wait 4 to 7 or even 13 to
So
20
the
minutes in rural
statistic
areas?
is if somebody locally is carrying at a mass shooting, it never gets more than 2.3 people. But if the police respond, it's over 10.
Yeah.
And by the way, not to just throw it out there, but we can look at Florida for an example of that, right? Even if there's a cop there, it doesn't mean that he's going in.
Right.
Yeah.
We got the
we've seen
cowards
it.
of
right?
Broward.
Right. So there's somebody who's
Oh.
on school property with a gun that's allowable under your stupid fucking law, but even he didn't go in and save those kids.
Yep. Literally. I mean, look at, oh man, there's so many examples of this happening. And I don't even want to bring up the one school that we're all thinking of where there was an entire like platoon of dudes out there. And the one guy in the gray carrier with the with the button down dress shirt or whatever that just kept rushing in by himself until he was catching shrapnel all over himself and all that. He literally gave up, but he didn't give up until everyone around him was like physically grabbing him and pulling him back and saying, stop
Yep.
going. And Uvalde, stop going. We need to wait. We need to wait for a shield. Shield comes. We need to wait for a second shield. Second shield comes. We need to wait for this. Let's gas him out. There are kids in there bleeding to death. There's the rules. You stop the killing, you stop the bleeding and the dying, right? They're breaking every single rule. I would venture to guess that nearly probably every single person on this stream would have run in there at without even thinking like, okay, I may leave this situation alive. Even with the whatever little, most was carrying like small 9mm handguns, right? I would venture to say that all of us would have run in there, boom, without any expectation of
Of
leaving
course,
alive.
but of course you will. You know why? Because listen. All right, we're not being cocky here, okay? But we need to look at reality. All right, the person in that school doing that is not trained. I'll fucking take them out with a 22. They can have a fucking machine gun. It's not gonna matter. They don't train, right?
Yeah.
They don't know how to. They're just going in and randomly spraying. This is why they're picking those soft targets, because they don't want to be confronted,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
And so, what kind of weapon the person that's guarding the school has isn't as important as how well trained they're going to be. But testing 1, 2, 3 just nailed it on the head in the friggin' comments, right? They want to control it. So blue-haired, green-haired, 40 persons who took classes on DEI and inclusion is the person that gets the job at defending the fucking school, right? That's what they want.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. Yeah, it's crazy, man. It's nuts. It's insane. Yo, to make it worse, by the way, Uvalde, a lot of people don't know this. The first officer that responded, the first one that arrived at the funeral parlor next door, he responded because there were shots fired, and the shooter started firing rounds at the two guys outside of the funeral parlor. They ran inside. Cop came. The dude was walking into the school, and he had him at about 70 yards. Shit, I don't remember. Whatever. A very reasonable shot. Okay, if you train with your gun at all, your rifle, that
I don't even care if you're a good shot at that distance. If you scare the guy away, that's a win.
From the unlocked door, he had his red dot on the guy, and he radioed for permission. And said he didn't hear back. Yo, a dude is walking into the school armed with a plate carrier and an AR-15 in his hands after shots have been fired. You have your red dot on the guy, and you radio for permission? What?
Right.
Welcome, Tor Jacobson.
This is the world we live in, man. Right? This is the world we live in.
Yeah.
Well, Dork, you were talking about a shooting last week where the teacher yelled at the kid and he dropped the gun.
Yep. Teacher stood in front of the dude with a 16 gauge shotgun, who, by the way, ran into the school with a guitar case, seemingly like he was just a late student for band practice. He ran in, he didn't go to the school. He went to the school the year prior. This was also in like 2018. Okay. So different time, but got into the school, ran in, and he had a 16 gauge shotgun, tactical vest. It was really just a stupid airsoft vest, but whatever. And a bunch of ammo, 16 gauge shotgun. Goes into the bathroom, opens up the guitar case, loads up, throws his vest on, throws an assload of ammo inside the vest, goes up to the band room, and he discharges one round into the partially open door, and then he comes in to start laying down hate. The teacher steps in front of him with the gun, and she says, "Hey, young man, you drop that gun right now." And he was like, laid on the ground till the cops came there. A mom voice can turn some things around.
Yeah.
But she had balls, and she jumped in there with aggression. Violence of action doesn't always necessarily have to be actual violence, right? Or it doesn't have to be like,
Physical.
a fatal. Yeah, it could. If you run in there and you fight the guy for the gun, it doesn't mean you have to like dump a magazine into his face from 10 yards away. You should, by the way, if somebody's walking into a school, right? But like, just rush them, surprise them, change their behavior. That's all. And I'm not an expert, dude. I'm a slightly overweight, maybe more than slightly overweight, random, dad from Virginia. I'm not like the tactical, Superman or whatever. I'm just a dude. But if I have
but you're a
the
dude with kids that go to
opportunity-
school,
yeah, Yep.
right? And schools are unsafe because the communities and their fucking policies have made it unsafe,
Mhm.
yeah,
right?
Yep.
So that's the problem.
Now,
And
if I have the
nowadays, if your kids
opportunity-
go to a Christian school, you got to be real concerned.
Yep. If I have the opportunity to potentially preserve innocent life, innocent, no one's innocent, right? But children, right? I'm absolutely going to jump in there with no expectation of leaving alive.
Right.
All right, guys. I think we're gonna wrap it up here. And
Thank you
get
for
going.
listening, John.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Thank
You
you.
did a great job.
Yeah, we are going to be having a drawing soon. I was trying to put it up, but for some reason, Gleam is having issues with the YouTube link. I don't know why. So I'm gonna try it later. But I was gonna announce it here. But I am giving away a flamethrower
What?
Nice.
because I bet you the government doesn't want you to have it.
Yeah,
Right.
but they're not really regulated. So
They're not. Well, most places.
yeah, most places.
Yeah, there's a couple like California. I don't think you can have them.
Shout out to Kurt24.
But if-
Man. He's been
Yeah,
out there
Kurt
killing it with the
24.
links.
If it has a
Thank you.
label on it that says not a flamethrower, would
Oh, that's how
California
Elon
allow
got
it?
his flamethrower into Europe.
Yeah.
You know that story, right? Where MGB?
What?
Elon Musk submitted his flamethrower to get approved to go to Europe. And they said, no, we're not allowing it because it's a flamethrower. So they said, okay. He resubmitted it and changed the name flamethrower to the not a flamethrower. And they're like, huh? All right,
They let
good.
it go.
Good to go.
We got to stop sending stuff in not an 80%.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
All right. Thank you so much for having me, John and guys. Really appreciate it. Great to see you all, as
Thank-
always.
You guys make sure you support Marine Gun Builder. MGB has done so much for the building community.
Yep.
And it's hard all this. And also
Russian guy that's gonna win it. I already put US.
US only, right?
Yeah, somebody dude in Russia won richest contest. He was so pissed.
Yeah, and he probably doesn't even watch this channel. So I'm definitely next giveaway. I'm giving away a Goon Beam. You got to be American, and you got to watch the live stream.
Whoa,
So
hold on. You can't say you got to be American. You have to be within the continental
American.
US is what he means.
Yeah. So when I see your IPs in Russia, no good. You're out.
Sorry. So what I was saying is, MGB has done so much for the builder community. We got to make sure we give back. If anyone out there is looking for, and it's great that we have over 100 people in here right now. If anyone out there is looking for OEM Glock parts to build, assemble, upgrade, update, whatever, go to Marine Gun Builder's website and just whatever your favorite search engine is, type in Marine Gun Builder and then Charlie Oscar Mike, and you will be able to find the best place to get OEM Glock parts. And not only that, for the next day or two, or how long are you gonna do it?
I think we said 24 hours, right?
24 hours. You'll be able to use code FREEDOM, like William Wallace, FREEDOM, and get a lower parts kit for $60. It's $25 off of every item on his store. So check it out. And then I'm also doing
kits, you take 25 off everything in the store.
Hell yeah. And I'm doing free shipping at DLD Hardware. So that means you're only paying for the jig for the dudes that come in to get one jig and they're like, dang it, I don't want to pay $10 shipping for one singular jig. Use code PWEDC, which is exactly what it sounds like. That's Prison Wallet Everyday Carry. And that code will give you free shipping on anything and everything. So shout out.
Awesome. Fantastic.
That works for me.
All right. Thank you, gents.
Nice.
Thank
and
you.
You guys have giveaways, right?
We're gonna do a flamethrower giveaway. And then I don't know, we're gonna do some other cool stuff coming up soon.
Nice. Hell yeah. Yeah, and go to Freedom Crew University for learning how to build stuff that you can't find videos for on other popular platforms. And go to fattack.com to get shirts. Sorry, I'm done. And don't forget I'm just kidding. Sorry, I'm done.
Okay.
Love you guys. Love you. I love you all so much.
I love you too, Dar.
Thank you. And I have a show tonight at 10 p.m. Marine Gun Builder is going to be there.
Oh, am I? All right.
He is.
Well, I got to go fulfill some orders for our Patriots, and then you can hit me up later.
There you go. All right. Are you guys ending? Do you want me to end the stream, or are you guys?
Okay. I'm gonna see you guys later. Bye.